Welcome to the Get Over Yourself podcast, where we explore the power of mindset, success, and authentic stories. Join us as we delve into life experiences that challenge traditional thinking patterns, providing valuable insights and inspiration for personal growth. Get ready to embark on a transformative journey as we analyze those stories and uncover the keys to unlocking your true potential. It's time to reshape your mindset and embrace a new path towards success. Get ready to be inspired and empowered right here on Get Over Yourself. Let's get right into it. Hi, everybody. My name is LaSharis Luster, and I am the co-author of Get Over Yourself, How to Move Without the Ball, and also entrepreneur. I share the authorship with my husband, Dr. Eric Luster. So welcome to our channel, Get Over Yourself, where we discuss mindset, growth, achievements, and truths, all in transparency. So I'm really excited today to dive deep into this topic with you all. I have my brother with us today, my youngest brother from my mother. He is an official government employee. And today we're going to talk about just him and his path and his journey during from college as a child, college into adulthood, and just really get into it. So, bro, did you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, audience. I'm Nijiah Woodard. I'm the youngest of four. Shares is my older sister, and I'm happy to be here today to share my experience.
Awesome. So let's explore some of these nuances and complexities of the topics, and we will uncover some more insight as we go down. So mainly the I would say the main point of how we dived into this conversation was with the book Get Over Yourself. And as you all know, if you've picked up the book and read it, it is a book where we've divided life into 4 quarters of a basketball game. So chapter 1 is 0 to 20. Chapter 2 is 20 to 40. Then you get into that that halftime moment where it's like that oh shit moment. Am I where I'm supposed to be? Did I do what I was supposed to do to get to where I'm supposed to be in the next couple of years of my life? Then you go into 3rd chapter, you go into 4th, and all during this time you have mentors, you have family, you have different type of support people with you, around you, ones that started, ones that won't be with you when you go to the next level. So that's what we're talking about today. So my first question is, bro, what does personal growth mean to you, and how do you actively pursue it?
Personal growth, what it means to me is really about life. Watching people, peers before you, whether it's family, friends, or work co-workers, or whatever the case may be. Seeing them go through their life, whether they if they made a great move as far as like something that or a great experience, something that happened in their life, or um, whether it's something that bad or tragic happened in their life, it's kind of like to me, you're taking yourself from the actual, you're looking at someone else from the audience. Yeah, and I might use a lot of metaphors because to me, this book represents a huge metaphor, which is, being able to play the game without actually being in control, complete control of it. Some people, what I'm saying is that you may, as you continue to go in life, and you see things that didn't work, things that did work, and also see other people's experiences, whether it's your, parents, things that they might have experienced through life, or whatever, and you just try to um, cope with that, and you change what you need and what you don't need in your life, but also um, you support those that are around you, and not completely be about oneself.
Right.
That's kind of how I look at
Yeah. I want
personal
to take
growth.
you back because it's interesting when you say you watch people and you learn and then you make whatever you've seen be good for you or be bad for you or whatnot. And so, I was the older sister growing up. We all know I had a lot of things going on. I made some horrible choices, and you were the baby of all of us. It was three of us before you, and you were able to watch all three of us. And if I'm being honest, you were the one who learned from everybody's mistakes. And I mean, you made some, bad choices yourself, but not none, I would say, equivalent to what me and other ones have made. And you were able to move, even though you were younger than us, you were able to move a lot faster than us. You graduated before us. One of our siblings was in the military, but even then you were into your employment now, which you've gone and got promoted and did all these things. So I don't know if I ever told you that I was proud of you for doing that, because I'm glad you didn't mess up like how I did. I had to start. I started doing some stuff and I had to retrack, so you didn't have to do that. And growing up, what do you think you took away from learning that stuff, learning from us as we made different bad choices? What were you thinking when all of these things were going on?
Well, I'm gonna correct you on that because I've made a lot of bad decisions. It was just it's you know picking yourself back up and dusting yourself off. And I mean, this is how I look at it. I honor every um, downfall, because those downfalls is what makes us who we are today. It prepares us for a new level uh, of new avenues, to pursue. However, yes, I was able to, being the young one. um, you know, I went through a lot of stuff, like just growing up in life. Riding the little school bus, which Dr. Luster talked about this in the
Yeah,
book, and
yeah, he
and
had one
it's
pull up.
funny because I didn't know he rode the little school bus just like me. And I told him, I said, man, it's amazing how some of the similarities that we both shared throughout life in general. But to back to your question. So yeah, looking outside in, it wasn't that um, you guys messed completely up or anything like that. It was just how I see it was that I wanted to um, I was battling with myself because of the battles that I was facing in reality. And what I mean by that is, getting picked on and uh, riding that little school bus and
Right.
going through those tutoring classes and all of that kind of stuff. Um, to me, I was asking myself, why is it me that's going through this?
Mm.
And that was really the wrong mentality, because that was the victim mentality. But I used that energy, and I learned from the situations that my peers have went through, in my family members, which is you and my older brothers, to I just wanted to change the course of life for me in my future. Not really for me, but just for the future, because I'd seen no value in having that victim uh,
Right.
mentality, as far as, hey, I can either continue to feel sorry for me and what the dice had rolled in my life at that time, or I can, hey, we can change this, and I and create a better future just for our generation. Period.
Right, right. That's interesting you said that, because it actually jumps right into the next question. which is, how do you handle setbacks or failures, and what type of strategies do you use to bounce back? And that's interesting that you brought up about being a victim, because you learned from that, and being labeling yourself and taking on the ownership of being a victim. It brings on a lot of things. It brings on depression. It brings on you to be stagnant. It brings on you to not be able to connect and engage and have healthy relationships with other people. You mirror yourself onto other people, whereas like somebody could be saying something to me and automatically I take the perception of, oh, this person is out to get me, they're attacking me just because they're giving me feedback or criticism. It might not be what I want to hear, it might not be positive, but if it's the truth, it's the truth. And I think growing up, not necessarily growing up, but I think we've been taught, oh, be nice to people, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. And yes, I do agree with that. But at the same time, being nice can also be telling a lie. Because if I'm just be nice to you all the time, and I'm not going to say, hey, you making a mistake right there, or I think the things that you're doing are not right, they're not appropriate, you going down the wrong path, or hey, I feel like you just really not a good person. I love you, but you're not a good person, and so you need to change those things. Some people can't accept them. Heck, it was one point in time I couldn't accept those comments or those statements, and I was taking on that victim approach, and so I had to figure out, how am I gonna be able to learn and be able to connect with people and also accept these things that people are saying to me if I know honestly that they are honestly true. You know what I mean? Without getting the attitude and stuff like that. So and that was a difficult part. So that's, how do you handle setbacks? How do you handle failures?
I mean, you just have to handle it. What I mean is that, when I say you have to dust yourself off and move forward, life is going to hit you with a lot of blows, period.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because referring to the book, when you talked about, well, you made a comment about when somebody made a statement or you heard something, from a person that whether you didn't like it or you didn't like it. Well, I also I engage that to there's levels of maturity.
True. Yeah.
That person may not have said anything negative towards you. However, it's just a comment, quote unquote, what Dr. Lusser said in the book, hater mentality.
Yeah.
It was a situation. I think he was working with a partner or working with somebody when he was younger, and that person, he was going into a new level.
Yep.
But Dr. Luster was still stuck in that old zip code.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that I think he used the term hater. I don't know if you remember. I can't remember what chapter. But the thing is, what I'm saying is that people may offend people not based off of something that they're being negative towards that person, but based off of is really all where the mentality of that person where they're at,
Right.
So like what I'm saying is like you can you can be in an area where okay, so no. Let's say this. Now that like, okay, we're sitting here talking about our faults and our the negative experiences. That should show this audience that we're not in the same mentality that we used to be in, because a lot of people, if they're
negative,
they won't even talk about
it because you're shameful. Are you embarrassed?
Right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. And going into the book, that particular situation was one of his colleagues that he was in
Hmm.
school with um was doing his innovation on his products and building his business. And he had already gotten to a point where his product was out on the market. He was getting a large in capital raise. He had
Right.
employees coming on and all this. And when Dr. Luster called him and to speak with him, he was talking to him like they normally do in an academia type
Right.
way. But the particular gentleman had leaped 5 different levels since the last time they had a conversation. And so
Hmm.
he felt like he was being blown off, but he wasn't being blown off. This guy now
No.
has 15 people that he's overseeing. He's accepted $4 million from investors who are now, hey, what's going on? Is your product being sold? What are we doing? So his life was different. And so it wasn't that he was being a hater, which is what we were taught to believe. It was,
Hmm.
hey, I had to change because I just did 5 different levels up, and this is what it requires in this position. And that is something that I believe in our community, we've always been taught that, oh, if people leave the neighborhood or if people doing something different, then they
Hmm.
change.
Then they
Then,
change, right?
they think they all that or something like that. But you did change. You had to change, because if you didn't, you wouldn't even be able to do the things you're doing right now.
Exactly. And it's funny you said that because I mean, like I said, we may look at it as, or the old self may look at it as, oh man, like this person is changing. They got this, they got that, and all that kind of stuff. In reality, they just growing. That's all.
That's all it is.
And people don't. Some people are still in denial because they're still stuck in that old
Yeah.
zip code mentality, in which he referred to in the in his book.
Right.
Having that, you can be. It's funny because I use the same lingo to Dr. Luster. I said when he talked about the zip code, like he was talking about a person's mind.
Right. It could
So
be,
you can be worldwide, and
yeah,
he
it's a
even used this
metaphor.
for, I think,
Right.
verbatim.
Yep.
You could be worldwide. It's a metaphor. You could be worldwide, but you could still be in that old zip code.
Yep.
Um, I thought that was very interesting because it's just the same lingo as saying, "Hey, you could take someone out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of that person," or
Right. And
something
we
like that. A
always,
lot of people say those kind of things.
right. And us, we get, like this particular video. I'm not gonna get on the phone and
Hmm.
record the video and be like, oh, so what would you like to do? Like, no, we finna have a real conversation
This
about,
is this is can't this is what is his name? Kevin Samuels. No, I'm just joking. This is
no.
just this is straight real reality. I
Yeah,
mean, to be able to talk about these things and to be able to share these things with each other, that's how we make each other better. Period.
yeah,
And share our experiences.
that's true.
Because just because like when you use you said, oh, we you know before us, you got to see us mess up. Hey, I messed up too, and we all mess up.
I think you did a better
you know
job of hiding yours.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I'm just joking, but
but
that's
but it's funny. I wish there was, and I actually shared this with Dr. Luster. I wish the the post interview had a question. It wasn't in the book, but if I was able to ask him something in the post interview, I would have asked. He made a comment of, it gets lonely at the top.
right. Yeah,
Everybody's top is different. Everybody's top is different. Everyone's success is different. But
true.
I would have asked him, how do you deal with when you are lonely up there? How do you deal with when there's no one to help you? How do you deal with that loneliness as far as um, still trying to better yourself and still trying to
Yeah.
just be
That's
able to move
a good
forward?
question. That's a good question. And the answer that I'm going to give you is probably not one that anybody would probably think would even be something that somebody say, but based off of what I know of Dr. Luster and what I know that we implement in our ideology on life and what this book is about, main statement is getting over yourself and putting the mission, making the mission bigger than you. So right now, that's that topic, that question that you just asked is actually a reality for him right now. And the way that he's been dealing with it, at the end of the day, we're all human. We all have emotions. We all have Maslow's chart of needs, the things we need to be, humans and live and have healthy, happy lives. But at the end of the day, we're still human. And I would say that at some parts at some moments, it's sad. It saddens. It's sad, because you're like, okay, well, I did all these things and I'm doing all these things, and you just would want people, especially your loved ones, to be happy for you and also to be able to share it, because you didn't do all the stuff for yourself. You did it for the family. But just because others aren't able to see what you handed to them, it turns into a negative environment, and it creates separation. And so there you had that person by themselves. But at this particular time, this is the time when I would say, a grandma's tone, this is the time when the devil is sitting on your shoulder. And this is the time when you're finna jump into like a different level of greatness. And so you have the traditional mindset of, okay, well, forget all them people. F them. I ain't gonna do this. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't available. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Then that's when you lose your blessing. Because everything up until this point that has been accomplished has only been accomplished because each time you get to this spot, you reach back and you help somebody else. You give something to somebody else. You say something nice to somebody else, even though it mentally drains you. It drains you because people can just drain you. They just absolutely do. But you got to build, some boundaries. You got to do some grounding work, and you got to just really be focused into, okay, this is where I'm going. I know who I am. And I think that's the most important part. I know who I am. This is where I'm going. And I'm not going to let other people's attitudes, other people's mind thoughts, other people's setbacks make me be set back just because I don't feel a certain way. Because emotions, they go up and down.
They go up and down.
So you can't go off emotions ever.
No, you can't.
Ever.
Making emotional decisions. Right. That is very true.
And I think as a society, we've been taught to go off of our emotions, but that's wrong. And I believe as we're all woke, we're starting to see that a lot of things that we were taught and a lot of things that we were domesticated with are not in line with how we should be thinking or where we should be going or anything. And so it's a matter of right now, think of it like a computer, your brain, unboot it, unload it, wipe it, keep all the good stuff, and then like relaunch it with a whole different mapping of how you do things, how you think, what you're going to do, and really just find out who you are. And I think honestly, based on 23-year journey that I've had with Dr. Luster and married to him, that's been one thing that he has always been truly consistent on, and that's who he is, where he's going, and what he's finna do. And sometimes I can't answer all three of those, or let alone one. And he always is able to answer those three questions. And I think that that is one of the reasons that have helped him be able to move forward. Because if you know those three things, then you know if something come about and that don't align with who you are, where you going, or what you finna do, then why would you be doing it?
But see, this is the thing too. Like, it's like a tree. and its roots at the bottom of the, okay, so like a tree and its roots uh, at the bottom of the soil.
Yep.
So a lot of the things that you just watching you guys from the audience, this is me in the audience looking at you like what Dr. Lusser did, what you have accomplished over the years. Even though you still may have family members or friends that are not really technically congratulating, one or something like that, or it still may be in a different, I'm gonna say a different level, not in that level yet, or haven't got it yet. The things that you done, that you guys have done through your life still have influenced them to do better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna name a couple examples. For instance, okay, Dr. Lusser is Dr. Lusser now, right? He has a PhD. He worked hard for that.
Yeah.
But look, his sister went to school. She has a master's degree. His brother went to school.
Yeah.
So even though sometimes, no, and then look at his other brother. His other brother is a lot better now than he was.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, when you fall on that trail, or when you go and pursuing something straightforward, the residue of that success
It's
is
kind of
still
forced to go. It's forced.
It's even though some people still may not be mentally or may not have reached that halftime, per se, they still have benefited from that moving forward. If that makes any, from that residue from moving forward, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that no matter what, success is a domino effect. Because look, okay, for instance, okay, I was pursuing something, right, to try to better my the future and all that kind of stuff, because I just wanted to change the trajectory of just the course that I was on. But along the way, you know, and also Eric too, and you about to be a lawyer. You know what I mean? Yes, like, okay, I'm not saying that like I'm not stealing your success away from you whatsoever. All I'm saying is that, along the way is still, you know, him moving forward, our family moving forward, period, has still uh allowed others to move forward with their lives, to better their lives and all that kind of stuff. Even though a person may not have done it to, to all, like, watch me now or anything like that. It just, what I'm saying is success is
Contagious.
contagious. That's all, and
It's contagious.
it's very contagious. I mean, heck, Mike got his degree. So it's just, that's kind of how I see it. And, it's all about, like, now I see, because I've used the terms. I remember, reading this book, and I'm like, man, that was me saying, oh, like, I'm working on myself. I ain't gonna lie, I almost said it the other day, but I used it. I switched it around because, and I was actually telling one of my friends, when I said, no, I'm working for a better future. I made that comment instead of saying, hey, I'm working for myself, because now I realize that it ain't about me, or anything like that. And now I understand, what you two have been, what you two have been like, what the true meaning of, what this book is about. I get it now.
Right. Yeah. That's
so.
Yeah.
I'm still. But the thing is, it still takes time. You still gotta
it's
continue
a day
to it's a daily
It's
thing.
a
It's a
daily thing,
daily thing.
and it becomes something that you have to maintaining a growth
Hmm.
mindset on a daily basis. And you have to build habits, you got to build routines that help you cultivate that mindset. And
Right.
every level you move up to, those things change. You might remove something, you might add something else in there. Like, for
Hmm.
instance, you guys have always worked out, running, all of those things. You play football and all of that. And I did sports, but I hadn't been doing exercise on a daily for a while. And
Right.
where we at now, I started to feel tired at 4 o'clock. And so I'm like, okay, it's gotta be
Hmm.
something I'm eating. It's gotta be, I'm not exercising for where we're going. I'm not getting in shape for where we're going. And that is something that we had to implement over the last 4 or 5 months. And now I have the energy to keep going way past 4 or 5 o'clock at night. And that was something that we had to add. If we didn't add that, we would never be able to do all the stuff that we're doing every day. Absolutely.
Right.
And not only that, it's just other habits like taking a minute and just writing down stuff, having a
Hmm.
to-do list and making sure you actually checking it off, and not just like a regular elementary to-do, but like a for real to-do list. You might end up having
Right. Right.
to-do list. But yeah, just making sure that you follow up with all of those things, and doing some mapping and figuring out, hey, I did this in 2011 and this is what happened after I did this. So I know that making a decision like this affects me in this type of way. So I'm not going to do this when this shows up in
Hmm.
a different way in 2023, because it's
Right.
a repeat of everything. It's all a cycle. It's almost like you going through a test your whole life, and if you don't pass it, it keeps coming up in a
It
different
keeps
way.
coming up.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it keeps coming up in a different way, and you fail it, you pass it, whatever you do, then you going on this route or that route. And it's like that hamster. If you keep making the same choice, you the hamster in the wheel going over.
You just hamstring the wheel going all around.
Yep, making the same
Hmm.
decision, thinking that it's gonna change. That's called insanity. And to be honest, I've done that for a long time, and it's mostly because you just can't. Some people, Dr. Lester has a gift, and you have it too. You were the youngest, and you
Hmm.
were able to do it, where you all can watch people do things. And a lot of people, you watch them do something, and you have to touch the stove and get your fingers burned before you realize that, okay, wow, I shouldn't have did that, or this is what happens, because you didn't experience it yourself. But you all been able to watch other people and listen to other people and learn as you're watching to do something
Hmm.
that not only happens today, but something that's going to happen 5 or 6 years from now. Like,
Right.
I don't even remember a lot of things, but Dr. Lester will say, hey, this, don't you remember when this happened in 2020 and we did this and this? Okay, well, this is the same thing right now, so we don't need to do this and this, because this is what
Right. Right.
this. And so sometimes I just totally miss it because I'm not viewing things in that way. And because I've been in that stagnancy place where it's like, okay, I was ashamed. Let me put that deep down somewhere. So I didn't learn from the failure. I just went.
Right.
And everyone else, you two, have learned from the failure. And you
Hmm.
have to repeat cycles if you don't learn from it. And that is what kind of creates that stagnancy. You don't learn from the failures. And so now I've taken on a routine or a mentality as, okay, it's a failure, but it's a win because I'm learning something from it, and I'm not going to do that shit again.
Right.
Like, seriously, I'm not going to do that again. And so that's something you just learn to maintain. And so
Hmm.
now in your life, you getting ready, this is halftime for you.
Yeah, it's approaching, and believe me, I've made some mistakes. Like when you talked about, oh yeah, making some of the right choices when I was younger. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is trying not to make bad decisions. As I'm approaching halftime,
Yeah, well, I
because
think you'll have to
that.
starting early for you because it's not. It
Mhm.
says 40, But right now, the way technology has the world moving, we're about 2 or 3 years before our actual age in mindset and maturity. And so
Right.
I think that you're already, based on what I see from you, I think that right now is your halftime moment. And I am curious as to what do you see that you need to, like, have you identified any type of limiting beliefs that you have about yourself? What have you worked on to overcome? And what is your plan to move into third and fourth quarter? And we already know, like, you were one of the first siblings who was financially had 800 credit score right off the bat. Everybody else was trying to climb up there, but you was there. Finances good, steady income coming in, didn't have all of the extra stuff, baggage and all those things. So you're pretty much set in, you call them economical deterrents. And so finance is one, health is one, your zip code is one. So you already got career, you already got zip code, you already got all those things. So what are some of the things that you're looking to do to set up for moving into the third and fourth quarter of your life?
Well, first is of course is finding that common that common mate. You know, I what I'm saying is that I'm at a standpoint in my life where, or at a crossroads in my life where you know I need to, or don't really need to, but I would like to of course find someone that can continue to better me, in most of those areas. um when he say it gets lonely at the top, it does get lonely at the top. I'm not perfect by any means, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is that who wants to go through life and just being lonely, period?
Yeah.
And I know this is probably going off the
No, it's not.
record, but how I look at it is like this. Yeah, I can do all these things, or we can do all these things for a better future or whatever. But if I'm not at least allowing myself to meet someone that is, brings even better strategy to the table, someone that's better than, did better than, or accomplished more than what I ever could accomplish in life, whatever, then I'm still at a stagnant. How I'm looking at it now is how can we build a legacy? In order to do that, see, because I'm speaking single minded right now, but in order to do that, I want to eventually, um, have a common goal uh, with another mate.
Right.
And that's kind of how I look at it. But also leaving something for our generation. Whether it's trust, or like a trust fund, or
Yeah.
having colleges paid for ahead of time, things like that in that nature. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we can have all these accolades throughout our life, but if
You
we're
don't
not
for no one else.
sharing it,
Yeah.
if we're not sharing it, or we're not, pursuing a
People.
building, like, more with the family and friends and all that kind of stuff, then it doesn't even mean anything,
Right. No, absolutely.
So this is what I ask myself. It's like this. Okay, like, okay, and I've, we branched out to, more investing now and
Yeah.
things like that in that nature, because things like that is going to build something, a more foundation later in the future. And but those are the things that I'm thinking about now. Um, if you if I end up getting married in the next couple of years or whatever, you know, ask me this again, because I know it's going to change.
Oh, absolutely it does. I mean, you still
Hmm.
stick to your core value, but things change. And I think that I would say being married for 23 years, we didn't have a shell or an example to watch, because a lot of families
Right.
was broken. I mean, we did have a couple of
Hmm.
aunts and uncles who are still married and things like that we have looked at, but there's such a big wide gap in growth in how the world is, so things are a little different.
Right.
Like in our household, nothing is really traditional. I take out trash. Dr. Lester wash dishes. He do laundry. He cook.
Right. See, and I do all that.
Changes. Like I mean, it's totally like whatever needs to be done, everybody needs to be able to roll up their sleeves and get it done. And one thing that people, I would say, going back to the statement that you said about I'm going to work on myself. Every time we have had, and this is no lie, every time we have had a couple that were married, as soon as the one person said, I need to work on myself, 2 years later, the couple weren't even together. And so now I only probably have 2 friends that are still actually married, nobody else. And we talking about 10, 20 couples over the time of us being married. And that one statement is a commonality amongst each and every couple right before 2 to 3 years before they actually get divorced. And the devil tricks you into thinking that when you say, I know that when people say it, most times they're not saying it in a selfish, intentional way.
In a selfish way. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I need to get some stuff done because I see myself here, but I need to be here. And as you start doing that, it evolves into more of a selfish mentality. And so you trick yourself into thinking that you're not because of where you know you started, but that's what it evolves into. So then before you know it, you got a wife sitting over here, you got a girlfriend sitting over here, you ain't asking how they feel emotionally, you're not doing nothing for nobody else, you at the gym working out, you look good, but your wife is overweight. Why she not at the gym with you? Why you not encouraging her to the gym with you? You know, so it's not, I go somewhere and I'm representing myself. Every time I go somewhere, I'm representing our family. So if I look good, we all look good. If I look bad, we all look bad.
Well, check this out. If you're a Woodard, you look good. Period.
Shout out to.
I'm just joking. Shout out to Mama Tamara. No, I'm just joking. But
that's how people get in their mind, and they get just single-minded, and it's like, no, like if you are a couple, as long as I know that my spouse is all good, then I'm always going to be good. If that person's not good, then I'm not good. So you come together and y'all are as one. That's what the Bible says, whatever some people believe in and some people don't. But when you come together in a marriage, you are supposed to be one. And so that's a reflection. I'm looking after him, he's supposed to be looking after me, and vice versa. And if I show up, I'm showing up for everybody, same as him. And a lot of people get confused on that, and I don't, and maybe somebody can help me to see how their perspective of it, but I just know after being with somebody and knowing how things work, that's how it works, and effectively, where everybody
wins. But the funny thing is, like, okay, so y'all got married in
first quarter 19.
It was technically first quarter, right?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, you all know each other like a book, you know. I mean, that's amazing because, you know, first of all, to even be married that long, that doesn't happen in today's world. It just doesn't. You know, so I mean, that's, to me, that's pretty outstanding. I have to look at, like, you know, when I told you that right now I would like to find a comparable mate, you know. Me, I will be approaching halftime. You know, I'm on the late schedule. I mean, these days you have to be, because, you know,
you are,
of
but
course.
in a sense, I mean, maybe you're not, and maybe your halftime. Everybody's halftime is different. This is your oh shit moment. So your oh shit moment is, hey, I'm finna be 60, 70 years old. Right now, I go to my home and no one's there. When I get that
Right.
age, I actually want to go where if somebody not there, I'm at least expecting them to be there in an hour from work or something like that. I don't know.
Right. Right.
That's maybe your oh shit moment. Everyone's oh shit moment is going to be different. It is totally individualized on what you've been doing and what you need for your life, and that's your moment. And so, I mean, well, let's put a shout out there. We need what we need, bro. We need you go on the Bachelor show, get you somebody. But no, I mean, you go find a person, and it's gonna be a good person. And right now, I believe that this is your time to get ready for that person. Because if you're not ready, you're not gonna get her anyway.
That's true. Very, very true.
You're gonna miss the whole moment. So just continue working on it, thinking about it. And you've been living by yourself.
I've been working on it.
Yeah, no, I was saying
I'm actively recruiting.
Oh, so he's actively recruiting ladies. No, but really, you'll find somebody, and when you do, I think we all gonna be happy. Because you're the last one to climb over that. But I don't know. I wanted to get you on here because you had a conversation with Dr. Lester, and you told him that reading the book brought some powerful insight to you and motivated you. And we wanted to get you on while you were excited. And I guess one of my last questions is that what would you say to someone who hasn't read the book? What should they expect if they decide to purchase it on Amazon, or what should they expect from it to receive?
They should expect to get over themselves. Number one, not have, and what I mean by that is just like the book said, not looking at just your goals and your aspirations and all that kind of stuff. But when a person makes a decision, not making a decision based off of how you feel and how it affects you. Make that decision based off of how it will affect your future, your generation, your family, everything. I think this book is very important, and I'm actually gonna pass this book along to another friend, because I think that once a lot of us are reaching, or a lot of the people that I know, or everyone, we're coming up to halftime.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important to reprogram your mind. If you've been thinking about, hey, I got to do this for me and all this kind of stuff, I think it's time to change that mentality and actually start thinking about what you can do for others and not just yourself. But they should expect that it's someone coming from the heart, not just
right, just doing it,
about just doing it to do it. And it's the thing I read this. It was funny because I had to apologize to him because he called me like twice. And you talked about having a schedule, having a no, not having a schedule, but having a task that you have to complete. I didn't want to talk to him until I completed this book.
Yeah.
And when I apologized to him because when I finally talked to him, I was like, oh man, bro, I didn't know you did this, you did that. Man, like I see, like I went at him so hard, like he probably was like, dude, like what the heck, But the thing is, I was excited because it was things in here that he shared that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Just about but the most important thing is he used this metaphor relating to sports, relating to how things are, how a game is planned, how people are, not just being Jordan, you got to be Pippen, you got to be Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, you got to be.
Sometimes you got to be Phil Jackson.
Yeah,
you got to just be in the back, or you just got to be that announcer or that person that's in the audience. Looking, or everybody's contributing. It's one thing that I noticed about this whole thing, since we're using metaphors and since this whole book is a metaphor. even the audience, when you go to the Phoenix Suns game or whatever game it is, even the audience is contributing to that success of that team.
Yeah.
Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're right.
So you have to look
That's
at it.
Encouragement.
You know, you have to look at life.
Empowerment. That's building somebody up. All the team members saying, and all the audience, you know, that's throughout your life, you have 5 people or more. You have, just like a professional basketball player, you got a coach, you got a trainer, you got somebody who's supposed to be encouraging you, you got someone that you're calling that you can talk to about different personable things that you got going on in your life. And all of these people contribute in some way, but you contribute to them as well in some way. And these people also change, because once LeBron James was with one trainer, maybe he's leveled up and he a monster, he a beast now. So he needs a whole different level of training at that point. And people have to understand, like, you do outgrow mentors. You absolutely do outgrow mentors, but you should be able to give back, and you have to keep connecting with people, engaging with people, so that you can find those new people to help you be able to navigate down wherever it is that you're going and where you're at. And that brings me to my final question I'm going to ask you, because all of those places of elevation have a level of comfort to them, and some of them don't. And so are you able to share an example of a time when you had to step outside of your comfort zone to achieve a goal? And when you did that, what did you learn from the experience? Because we all know that comfort, sometimes you're just way too comfortable. You know, I had to look up and I was like, wow, I haven't did these 3 things in over a year, and I'm way too comfortable. Like, I need to get out of my comfort zone so that I can go and push myself to do more. And so being uncomfortable is a good thing. If you're comfortable, that means you're not even pushing yourself, you're not motivated, you just living day by the day by. So share with the audience, if you will, please, an example of when you had to step outside of your comfort zone and achieve a goal. And what did you learn from it?
Oh man, you know what? It's funny you said that, because me and a friend just talked about that the other day, and I was explaining to him that you know, when your back against the wall, you know, and everything it's uncomfortable. I mean, it allows you to have like a different mentality, like or accomplish something that you didn't even think that you can do. But I'll say what I went through was honestly leaving a job that I was in a different culture and in a different environment. I was comfortable. I was there for 10 years, you know. Imagine being somewhere for 10 years, right? And all of a sudden you leave to pursue something different, to pursue something more advanced. And I was uncomfortable for that whole 8 months, being in training, being in a whole different state that I've never been to, being away from my family. Not only that, an uncomfortable time, being in COVID.
Yeah.
That COVID time, 2020, that was 8 months of my life that, you know, I was very, very uncomfortable. And then after that, having to move to another state. That's completely different. And you know, that's a very uncomfortable situation. You know, it's kind of like a midlife crisis, sort of sense. I mean, in a good way, because the whole time that you know, when I was in that uncomfortable situation, I was thinking about all the times you know, when I went through sports, 2-a-days. Not only that, just like oh man, you know, I know I've been through something harder than this, or whatever, and thinking about the things that were to come, you know, the future, the you know, everything. So managing to get through that, I feel like I can accomplish anything. If you throw anything at me, I feel like I can accomplish it. And not only that, pursuing my education, furthering my education,
Yeah.
that was very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
I mean, just going through the process, and I wasn't a A student or anything like that. Sure, I didn't make A's
I know.
until the
I know.
master's program. I was almost a 4.0 student. I was a 3.9 student.
Yeah, I know.
I only got one B in that program. And that,
Yeah.
to me, that was amazing, because I never ever, ever
Got
have
a
put
grade
myself in a situation like that.
higher than a C. I got an
Yeah. But
A.
the thing
But that's
but
that.
the thing is,
Yeah, that you say that. Yeah.
you have to have that dare to be great mentality. If you don't put yourself out there, if you don't put yourself in a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, you know, how are you going to progress? Um, and that's those are the things that I think, it gets you from that one level to another. Some people are scared to dare to be great.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to put yourself out there, and sacrifice you for where you're trying to go.
Yeah. I like
You know
that.
what I mean? Or just
Great. Have the dare to
dare to
be
be great.
mentality. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Um, I
That's
think a lot of people, when they are in a comfortable situation, um, they, like I said, they're comfortable. They don't want to leave. Like, okay, we go back home, we see the same people doing the same thing, when we left years ago,
yeah.
and honestly, getting out of that comfort zone is a shock.
It is.
So they just don't want to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
They
it's sad, because you will never know your true value and your true self. I mean, your true abilities, until you actually step out of your comfort zone.
yeah, that's very
So
wow.
I encourage anybody to do something that they never done before. Like me, I plan to, just for instance, it's like little self victories. I plan to my one of my goals is to go to another country by myself. Different language, everything. Because
Mm-hmm.
you really find yourself when you by yourself in a situation that you're uncomfortable. So
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
I'm just using that as an example. But
No, but that was a good
so
example.
I don't.
That
But
was
yeah,
a good
I mean, you
example.
definitely hit it. Yep.
That was
So
a
I mean, you definitely hit it on the nose. Um, you know, why a person, just making yourself, or when your back is against the wall, you fighting, to to move forward. Even though you're being pushed back against that wall, you're not allowing that person to go through that door,
yeah.
because that's your door.
Right.
So
It's your
it's just
door.
like this. Like, if you own a house, and you at a house, right, and you there by yourself, and someone comes in or try to come in, just you seeing somebody there that you never seen before, that's gonna make you feel uncomfortable. Am I right?
Right.
So you're gonna do whatever it takes to
Safely
you
to
know
protect yourself.
to protect yourself.
Wow. That's
And
a good
that's kind of how I
analogy.
look at it.
Right. Wow,
Hmm.
that's good. I like that. Dare have a dare to be great mentality. That's a good one.
Hmm.
And you're absolutely right. Being uncomfortable is actually where we should want to be comfortable. And that's really, I mean, you talking about
Right.
that's your door to open. And can you believe how many people are scared to open that door, and how many fewer people that open the door, and then they end up being on the other side of that door, and they're lonely. So you lonely,
Hmm.
and you got to be uncomfortable, and you always got to have this attitude of getting over yourself, and you got to have a great mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds bad, but with all of those tools and all of those thoughts, we know that you can get far.
So my message to the readers, the readers that will get this book, is to picture yourself in Eric's life. Picture yourself in this author's life, and don't think, of course, don't think about yourself, but think about everything that you're doing in life, whether it's positive or negative. How would it affect you and your family for now, or in your everything's around you moving forward?
Right. Okay. Well, we'll stop there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you, Nijiah Woodard, for talking with me and sharing your thoughts and sharing your story and your journey. We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate you reading the book. And anyone who wants to purchase the book, it's on Amazon. You can find it, Get Over Yourself, How to Move Without the Ball. Please follow us on the Get Over Yourself YouTube channel and ask questions, chime into the discussions, and feel free to request any topics that you would like to speak on. Again, thanks for watching, and we will see you later. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Get Over Yourself podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like what you heard, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel to stay updated on future episodes. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for more exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and community engagement. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, happy listening. And remember, get over yourself.